How we doing tonight, folks? Trying to center the camera. It's a little off tonight for some reason, but hey, at least the picture seems good, at least on my end. For whoever the first person to come into the chat is, you can either confirm or deny this. And it's Lance Chafin for the win. He says, "Hiya, Thrash. How you doing, Lance? How's the picture and sound quality? Still holding my own, or is it like still kind of need a tweak situation? Sounds smooth. I'll take that as a doing okay." Tom Lemery in the house says, "Hi, Thrash. Tom, so good to see you. Glad you could make it tonight." Again, picture quality good. Uh, Still kind of tweaking the color. The color seems to be a little faded, but I don't when it gets saturated, it looks like it's almost like sepia tones. It's way too much. Keithy says, "Looks good." Well, looks and sounds gooda. So it's the Swiss Family Robinson. I'm sorry, that was a very cheesy pun. Kevin Scott 76 is back. Oh my God, Kevin Scott, so good to see you. Hey Thresh, just finished teaching. So glad you could make it. Haven't seen you've been a busy beaver since the end of last year. Zuplex is in the house. Says, "Is that you, John Wayne?" Is that me? Hey Pilgrim, I do the worst John Wayne impression in recorded history, and there ain't no two ways about it. Let's see. A lot of people saying hi, having fellowship. That's awesome sauce. We're up to 5 people. We're up to 1 like. I'm sure we could do better than that, folks. Come on. Come on. And I almost have the camera situated where I can actually look at it and read the comments at the same time. Almost. Almost. You know, it's the hardest habit to break is that I am so inclined to look at the image on the screen, which is funny because it works fine if I do that with my phone, which is how I started this whole thing. It doesn't work in other formats, so I'm going to try like the Dickens. I keep thinking that I'm talking to Hal. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. So let's see. Who else we got going on? So far, the same 5 people, but they're all really talking to each other, and that's good. This whole thing is about fellowship and fellowship. And Lance Jaffin says, "Thank you for all your streams." Thank you to you, Lance. Thank you for your support in my endeavor. Hey, we're islands in the stream. But no man is an island unto himself. Wajamin made it. It's so funny. I was just updating my YouTube before I came in, and of course, I'm one of Wajamin's biggest fans. And he always makes a habit of he always says thank you anytime you put a comment on one of his posts. He always takes the time to say thank you, and I super appreciate that. And I know all you guys have, but just to read another record, if you haven't subscribed to Wajamin's channel, please do. John Bernstein is here and says, "Just the same 5. I can leave that." No, John. We need you. We need some fresh blood. Although you're as much of a regular as most of these people, but don't worry. We're up to 10 now, and I'm sure a few others will make it. Kevin says, "Yeah, 33 students, 2 symphonies, a musical, an opera, weddings and church services, recording projects with guitar, and 2 bands." You've got to post some of this stuff. You got to post more music. I love the opening themes you do; those are great. But I got to hear some of your music. Sean Innes is here. Says, "Hey all." Daryl Johnson says, "Bob, other brother Daryl, good to see you." Actually, you know what? You're not the other brother. You were the primary brother. But anyway, brother Daryl, so good to see you. Skipping down just to make sure I haven't missed anybody. A lot of times I go by the icon. But sometimes people aren't just saying hi to each other. That actually happened. That happened to Daryl. I think that actually happened to you, where I missed a couple of your comments because I thought you were like saying hi to people. You were actually saying stuff to me. If it wasn't you, it was somebody else. But that does happen. So I try to read, make sure it's not just hi, hello, and all that. Tom Lemley says, "I'm the 6th like. I'm the 6th sense." Keith E says, Hi, Tom and everybody. I missed. I'm going out to the La Vida. Hit the thumbs up. Oh, hi, everybody. I missed. There you go. I thought you said you were missed. I'm like, we haven't missed you. We've been talking to you. But yes, thumbs up to all. John Doe says, hello, Thrash. I know I'm late. I'm trying to stay positive. Had to work my energy up getting on this chat. Dude, full plate, more than understand. Seriously, more than understand. I'm so glad you made it. I'll try to keep your spirits up. And you're actually really not late. We've only been here for, well, it might be 5 minutes now. It was only about four. And so far, it's just a bunch of people saying hello to each other. Hello, 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 hello. So, John, you are right on time. And as you can see, we're all pulling for you, man. Stay positive. We'll do what you can. John Bernstein says, I do music, I sing. To not brag, I'm pretty good too. I'm sure you're a Johnny. Oh, and speaking of John's, John Collins in the house. He says, hello, John. So good to see you. Thank you for joining us. John Doe says, good evening, room. That's the best way to do it. It was so funny. I got on Dave's chat late last night, and and it's nice to have friends, but like 40 people said, hey Thrash, hey Thrash, hey Thrash. And I didn't want to skip anyone. I didn't want anybody to think that I didn't, see them, appreciate them. I didn't want anybody to think I wasn't talking to them. So you have to kind of like bulk. So good evening, room. Sean Innes says specifically to wow, what's with the Dutch Angels tonight? Hold on. Dry throat. You seem like a guy in a bad guy lair in the old Batman series, LOL. Dutch Angels. Love the reference. Wish I knew what you were talking about. Long story short, when I was testing my camera, for some reason it gave me a smaller rectangle. So everything seemed a little more fitted. When I went live, it kind of went widescreen, and I'm a little oblique because I'm actually sitting in the corner, which is where everything was set up. I thought I was going to have this much. Well, wow, I'm way. There it is. I thought I was going to have a much more tighter shot tonight. I keep forgetting that the camera is like literally like this, so anything out here is off screen. But anyway, that's why it's the angle that I got picked up with. Zuplik says if George Santos appears, call the I assume you mean the person with the handle George Santos from last night, whose name actually might really be George Santos. Lance Javen says I did a Three Stooges day. Nothing wrong with that. Shut in says angels. Oh, I know what angels are. Dutch angels? I'm trying to picture Dutch angels. I love it. I'm sure it's a reference to something. Liz Javen says Tom sat at 5 watch party. I believe he's referring to Retro Nerd Girl is having another watch party at 5. It's a movie that I own too. She mentioned it. Lance, please tell us in the comment section what the movie is this coming Friday at 5 Eastern Standard. Sublik says T. Ponce has been inspired by the Stanley Kubrick, Sean. Always have been. There's only one movie by him I haven't seen. Guess which one it is in the comments below. Sean Innes says Oh, angles, not angels. I'm like, Dutch Angels sounds like a really cool handle. Dutch Angles. It's the offset, uneven perspective industry term. I think it kind of works. I might actually go with it. Well, I certainly am for tonight. That's for darn. John Bernstein says I once did Elvis at California's Great American Opening Karaoke, and it went from 8 people to over 400 when I finished. Can't help falling in love in Elvis voice. That's right, baby. I do a great impression of fat old men. I used to do when I was very drunk. I would do Burning Love at karaoke, but I won't dare do it tonight because I'm sober and it's copywritten. Tom Lumley says yes, and I assume a Friday chat as well. She might be. I haven't heard, but I'm sure she is. Big Guys 45 is here. Big Guys, so awesome to see you. As a Blitz reminds me, angles, not angels. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Although I think I'm gonna make Dutch angels a thing. Shot Innocent guessing the killing. It's a good one. No, good guess, but wrong. John Doe says, "Where is your giant creature feature review?" I haven't been able to do a lot of content posts lately. I won't bore you with the details. My days have been kind of. I've been doing them in days generally. My days have been kind of full. I will do more creature features. I will do more wretched recaps, specifically with the content you sent me. Lance Chafin just came in Clash of the Titans. Thank you very much. And Tom Henry says, yes, Thresh on the RNG comment. Definitely. Big Guys 45 says, I gained 17 subs and lost 24 yesterday. Ouch. And today, blank YouTube. I'm done with the GD platform. Blanking, blank, blank. Already YouTube, such a bummer. I feel your sympathy. I feel your sympathy. I have sympathy and feel your pain. Yes, that's it. Zublik says the killing. We've established now. I've seen that. Doctor Strangelove. No, that's actually one of my favorites. We'll whittle it down, I'm sure. Oh, and John Doe says the original Clash of the Titans was miles better than the remake ever. Period. Couldn't agree more. I actually tried to like the remake. I prefer the Harryhausen. A big guy says I'm done uploading content. Lynn says hi at 45. Sorry about YouTube. Sean Innocent says wrong. Boo. Okay, then Barry Lyndon. Sean Innes for the win. Something told me that would be your second guess. And yes, Barry, and I don't know why. It's not that I have no interest in it. I've never gotten around to seeing it. Kevin Scott says a great review of movies is Minty Comedics Arts on YouTube. He's an Australian gentleman, and he puts out some absolutely amazing content. And he and I feel very similar about films, to the point where when I've reviewed movies that he's already covered, I almost feel like I should put a disclaimer saying, while I'm a huge fan of Minty, this just happens to coincide with his feelings. I'm not simply parasiting what he says, but again, we do find very similar views on films. We like the same film too, as well, by the way. Big Guy says, off topic, but I might have mac and cheese for dinner. Oh, enjoy. Add some vegetables to it. I find that if you add some vegetables to it, it makes it more about a meal. Mrs. Thrash likes to put a little salsa in hers too, by the way. She lives on the wild side. Zublik says, sorry to hear that, big guy. Jones says, me too, big guy, but I'm just too lazy. Tom says, Apocalypse Now. Oh, no, I've seen Apocalypse Now. Did we just jump? Oh, but anyway, John, just before history rolls over it, I do intend to do more creature features, or features of creature, I should say, wretched recaps, uh, creepy classics, and just some general content in the not too distant future. And my first wretched recap is going to be your material. Let's just see. Big Guy says, Lance Chafin, thanks, bud. Not your fault. LOL, take care. Tom Lumley says, very sorry to hear, big guy. Lance Chafin says, yummy mac and cheese, 45. Shana says, yes. What Jimmy says, sorry, you are going. I assume that was supposed to be sorry you are doing this or going through this. What do you mean? Don't mean to put words in your mouth. Sean says Minty is pretty good. He has that weird send off where he leans over at the end. Keithy says, what is not a Kubrick film, Eyes Wide Shut, or whatever that was with? what's his face and his wife, Tom Cruise, and then wife Nicole Kidman, which, if you're keeping score, was wife number two. He's had one since, who's he is also divorced from. I don't want to pick on Tom Cruise's personal life, but I don't count Eyes Wide Shut because he didn't complete it. I don't consider that a full Kubrick film. He was working on it, but let's just say close but no cigar. Although many people do count it, so I'll give you that if you do. Tracy Rothmeyer says, "Hey guys, Tracy, so great to have you in the house with us." Let's Javen then goes on to say, "Where's the ladies at?" Well, we just got one. Tracy Rothmeyer is in the house. Big Guys 45 says, "Mac and cheese. Hey, you know what I like? I grew up on mac and cheese." Daniel San LaRusso in The Karate Kid Part 389, one of the best quotes throughout the entirety of the Karate Kid franchise. Don't hate me, I never saw number 3. I don't know why. I had just tuned out by that stage of the ball game. Um, and I jumped. Oh, here we are. Sean Innes says Keith E. Yeah, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman for the win. A lot of people saying hi to Tracy. Keith E says, yes, that's them. Kevin says, anybody else have barbecue sauce with scrambled eggs? No. Sorry. At least I haven't. Others might have, but actually, I take that back. You know what I might have done? Back in the 80s, I was obsessed back when they used to do like breakfast for dinner and you could have those breakfasts served anytime places. I was famous for getting like steak and eggs at like 11 to 12 o'clock at night. And I would have definitely put sauce on my steak. So I'm sure it commingled with the scrambled eggs. So let's give it a qualified yes. Zublik says yes. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Tom Lemmy says Minty, the one that does TV top 10 lists on classic TV shows. He does top 10 lists. I don't recall classic TV shows. He'll look at the 10 things you didn't know about Repo Man, or he does a lot of Australian films too, which is funny because I actually love Australian cinema. Although I've barely scratched the surface, I've found. Trey Rosmeyer says, nice shirt, Robert. Thank you. Mrs. Thrash got it for me. Tug is in the house. Tug says mac and cheese. What he says, go. Tug, so good to see you. And look forward. He and I were on Ian's podcast last night where we discussed MST3K. It's a goodie. John Doe says the alternate ending to I Am Legend with Will Smith lives. So they say that's the real ending, and that's not how, and that's how they're making a sequel. I think I missed something in there. I'm guessing that they're making a sequel to I Am Legend. That depresses me unutterably. Not only do I feel Will Smith's depiction of I Am Legend is one of the most poorly executed film adaptations of a novel ever. And I was going to say of I Am Legend, of which there are 3 or 4. I mean, just ever. It was just so poorly executed. I keep blaming him, and I shouldn't. It was the filmmakers in addition, but he even misses the point of the title. And I'm not going to do spoilers. Maybe sometime I will do. I will do a Thrash Pondo review, book versus movie of I Am Legend. And I'll do all the movies, and you'll see why his is hands down the at least inaccurate. I won't say worse because somebody might like it. The least accurate. John Doe's. Oh, I already read that. Sorry, John. I will get off the soapbox now. Form is content is here. Hi, Thrash and all. Ziplik says, what is in the box? I'm going to now tip my hand. The mystery box actually is, and I didn't want to say tonight I wanted to talk about Raquel Welch because I didn't want people to think I was doing clickbait. So I said I was doing a mystery box episode because that's clickbait, but clickbait I can live with. But I would like to make Raquel Welch and her impact on American cinema at least the quasi topic for tonight. In fact, I do have a trivia game for tonight. I didn't want to make it all Raquel Welch. I thought that would be redundant. The first half are questions pertaining to Raquel Welch, and the second half, I don't know if any of you out there are also fans of Dark Corners film. They did a battle royale, the battle royale of the Bond girls, and it was incredibly entertaining. So what I did was for the second half, the other five questions are pertaining to picks for Bond girls. Zuplex, I hope that answers your question. Now I seem to have gotten a little bit behind, so I'm going to kind of skate through here and try to catch back up. Jumper, he says, mac and cheese should be baked and contain no vegetables. I do like it baked, and it doesn't have to have vegetables. Cheese, Fontana, cheddar, and brie breadcrumbs on top. I like crumbs on top of mine too. Shannon says to Lynth Chafin, it was the mid 50s, hence 2 weeks ago it was down to zero, absolutely psychotic weather. I think it was mid 60s, I meant. John Collins says, Bob, I volunteer for a nonprofit org who partners with people whom experience disabilities in their lives. You live in a progressive bastion. What is a productive way to raise substantial funds? Well, you're asking someone who's never raised substantial funds in his life, but I like fundraisers. We used to do these in college. I don't know if any of these would fit your means, but if you could do, well, nowadays everybody does everything with oh, what's that? What's that? It's a GoFundMe. But I like if you can find a venue, do like a bingo night. People love bingo nights, particularly people with money. Things like that. Charity thrift not thrift shops, charity garage sales. Ask people to host a garage sale, get rid of their crap, and donate the proceeds, or at least a part of it, to your organization. A lot of people have crap in their house they want to get rid of, and what's more fun than a yard sale? And what the great thing about that is you don't have to organize it. Anywhere in your city, people here, there, everywhere could do these charitable garage sales. Mm. You heard it here first. Tug says, that sounds exactly like my homemade mac and cheese, John Bernstein. Ah, but with one omission. There's no yogurt in it. Let's just see. Oop. Kevin had a big comment, so I'm gonna try to read that. I did some marketing work for the guy that Karate Kid was based on back in '86. He took me to a Japanese restaurant and talked about his experience and said the movie was pretty much how it happened. Did his first girlfriend really dump him on prom night for an upperclassman? That always bothered me for some reason, more than the bullies beating him up, more than them breaking Mr. Miyagi's bonsai tree. The fact that his first girlfriend dumped him at a prom for an upperclassman. I'm guessing he must have been a junior prom then. But in any event, Shotgun says, ouch, yeah. I am partial to the Charlton Heston version, but I saw that as a kid and like it. Anthony Zerbe there too. Anthony Zerbe as Mateus, I thought stole the movie. And I didn't think it was a bad adaptation. They went a little off script. I love the supporting cast too. The woman, what was her name? She was actually in a bunch of stuff. I'm so ashamed I can't think of her name. And the guy who plays her like right hand man, he was good too. He was a German actor, I believe, but was very good with English. But my favorite adaptation has probably got to be The Last Man on Earth. That's almost a faithful adaptation, but not enough. Tug says, "Yeah, man, I actually think Will Smith is is the one good thing about it. He does some great acting in it. Otherwise, I feel you thrash. I will grant you, yes, his performance was not bad. He actually had some pretty good scenes. The scene, spoiler alert, the scene where he has to put down his own dog, I thought that was actually very painful and very touching. But the script and yeah, let's just say his acting couldn't save that film. Let's just see a lot of John Doe says the only thing that I Am Legend was how they made New York City a desert. Yeah, that's right, because the other ones don't take place in New York City. Leather Chafin says, "How come Raquel Welch was never a Bond girl?" That is an outstanding question, and I don't have a proper answer for it. I think her career was far enough along where they would have considered her, she was looking more into starring and not supporting. That's the only thing I can think about that. But it's an excellent question, an excellent question. And just and I think we're caught up. I'm just going to a lot of people talking. Oh, Zublik says Linda Carter was the great Wonder Woman, and Raquel Welch couldn't have topped Linda. No, she couldn't have. Tug says the Vincent Price one is the most faithful. It's worth a watch just for his ending. You're all freaks monologue. Yeah. Sean Innes says Last Man on Earth was the Vincent Price version. Yes, it was. Zublik says I think Raquel Welch could have been a great Batgirl, though. I can see her as Batgirl. Yeah. Truth Rose Myers says she was a beautiful soul as well. She gave back tenfold. She certainly did. Gary Carpenter says no one can top Linda Carter, not even Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot, I think, did a very, very good job, but you're right. To me, it'll always be Linda Carter. Daryl Johnson says, "Did you open the box?" Yes, and I let all the harpies out. I even missed the last one, so Pandora's actually got one up on me. John Doe says, "I Am Omega Man was better than I Am Legend with Will Smith." Wasn't that a made for TV? I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen Omega Man. I've seen with Charlton Heston. I've seen Last Man on Earth, and I've seen I Am Legend with Will Smith. But there was a made for TV one which I have not seen. Tug says my first public domain theater was Last Man on Earth. If you don't mind a little self promotion, not at all, not at all. And wait, yeah, I saw that. I think I came in late. That's it. I think I came in late, but I remember you doing it. But yes, you did. We're still at 15. We're not quite. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes just in case any more late bloomers come in. A lot of people still think that we don't go on until 8:30. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes before we start the game of trivia, which I have backwards. And I'm going to start. Basically, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to give you a Raquel Welch character name, and you're going to tell me the movie it's from. Then, when we're done with Raquel Welch, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to give you the Bond girl, and I'm going to give you the character name. Actually, bite my tongue. I decided not to go with character names. I went with the actress's name. For reasons that are all too obvious. I'm going to give you the actress's name, and you're going to tell me what Bond film they were in, and of course their character's name. So if I gave you the character's name, it would be pointless. Emily Miller's in the house. She says, "Hi, y'all. Emily Miller's so glad to see you. I hope you had a very nice Valentine's Day." Let's just see. A lot of people saying hi to Emily as well. They should. We haven't seen Cindy D yet, and we haven't seen Lisa Fields. I was hoping they could make it tonight. We haven't seen. We have actually. There were a lot of regulars and a few people who specifically told me they were going to be here tonight. So I'm going to give them a few more minutes. Tug says message retracted, and a message retracted to you as well. John Doe says buy the Asylum movie with Mark Dacasco. I know I butchered the last name. I'm sorry, but sounds like fun. Let's just see. Daryl John says, I guess he did. Zublik says, where is Georgia Ayres? I just talked to her. Well, I didn't talk to her in words, in direct communication. I talked to her. She was on one of my posts, and she said she was sorry she missed the live chat. And I said, I'll have another one coming up tonight. And speak of the devil, Lisa Field says, hi, everyone. Hey, Thrash. Lisa, we were just talking about you. We were hoping that you could make it tonight, and you have. And I'm so glad you did. We're just a couple minutes away from starting the trivia game. And it's going to be two parts. First part, Raquel Welch questions. Second part, famous Bond girls. Kevin says, the unapologetic geek. Yeah, he said Mr. Miyagi taught him how the Okinawan people learned to use farm tools to fight the Japanese samurai oppressors. Love that story. Daily Dan, the good stuff says, better late than never. And greetings from South Carolina. Dan, it is so good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Daryl John says, that could be I was eating popcorn. And I'm sure that made more sense in proper context. A lot of people saying hello to each other. Gary Carpenter's in the house. Dan, he's our man. Gary, so glad. Let's see, Lisa Fields, Tug. Oh, Dan's giving us his links. Thank you so much. Gary Carpenter says he keeps on buffering. Am I buffering? Anybody else noticing buffering? Let me know. It might, Gary, it might be your equipment. If it is, I'm very, very sorry. But if it's mine, I'm very sorry as well. John Doe says, I Am Omega Man was made by the Asylum. And yes, you got the name right. He also did the Crow series, which was closer to the comics. Thank you. Daily Dan has given us another link to Tug. Rich Atwood is with us. Oh my God, Rich Atwood says, thank you for joining us, Rich. He says, Tim McCarver, baseball player and broadcaster, passed away. Oh, rest in peace. Very sorry to hear about that. Tug says, no buffering on my end. Good, good. Gary Carpenter says she was on Batman as the Riddler's Mall. Oh, we were just talking about that the other night. Yes, thank you. Karen Lee Maloney is here. A bit late, but happy to be here. Karen Lee, so glad you could be here. Really appreciate it. And you know what? We were just talking. A lot of people, because 8:30 used to be my showtime, a lot of people still think it is 8:30. So a lot of people are pouring in. But I'm very glad you made it. Daryl John says, I didn't see the box opening. You could have opened it while I was eating my popcorn. Oh, now I see. I see. The mystery, it's a figurative, metaphoric, non-corporeal box. The box is in here. I just used that as a thumbnail because it represented the box of mystery. You're not buying it, are you? I don't blame you. I made the thumbnails on the fly. So let's see. A lot of people saying hello to the people who just got here. That's awesome sauce. And let's see. Gerald Jones says, oh, no big words. When I get put on the spot, I become a thesaurus. You say that 5 times fast. Oh, Penguin. Hey, man, remember me? How could anyone forget the Penguin? You were one of Batman's most favorite villains. Glad you could join it. Thank you very much, Penguin. Dilly Dan says, I was late because of late dinner. I had a doctor's today. Spoilers, I'm going to make it. That was my next question. So glad you're doing tip top. But I'm sorry about your doctor's appointment. Lisa Field says, Lance, I'm listening and cleaning up. Oh, okay, good. No one's mad at you, Lance. Good. Kevin says Space Command is a good crowd-funded show you can see on YouTube. It's like the 50s sci-fi created by one of the Star Trek writers, Mac Zursky. I thought it was Zursky, but I might be mispronouncing it. Oh, I'm a fan of his as well, by the way. Good stuff. Zuplik says, is Penguin Bobby? Could be. Uh, and Gary Carpenter says, "I'm sorry, I was late for teapots." No, Gary, as I was saying, you're actually in very good company. About 8 people showed up with you. By the way, that's why I was. Look who else is here. Very very glad you could make it. A lot of people think 8:30 is my normal kickoff time still, but anyway, if you guys are late, more than okay. I'm glad you're here though because now we can actually start the trivia game. And for people who did tune in late, it's going to be in 2 parts. The first part is going to be Raquel Welch. I'll give you the character's name, and you have to tell me what movie that came from. The second part is famous Bond girls. I will tell you the actress, and you tell me which Bond film and what the character's name was. And as always, I will start in no particular order. Question 10. And remember, these are Raquel Welch. Cora. Cora was in what film? Teresa Rosmeyer says, "Hey guys, don't be mad at me if I bug out. I'm having health issues. Oh no, so I don't mean to be rude. I will I will for as long as I can. I love you guys." Oh, I'm so sorry, Tracy. Please, please, please take care of yourself and don't push yourself too hard. We love you very much. We'll be pulling for you. Emma Miller says, "I've never watched a Bond film." Well, this first part isn't Bond films, it's Raquel Welch films. Tug says, "I didn't know his middle name, CG." John Doe says, "Hopefully it'll be a good news day tomorrow. I hope. I've been there for so many people. Now I need help and no one is there." Well, we're going to be pulling for you. We can't be there because we're not with you physically, but we will be there in spirit as best we can. Sean Ennis says 10,000 BC. No, you're thinking of 1 million BC, and no. Good guess, but wrong. Tug for the win says Fantastic Voyage, and he is correct. Gary Carpenter says Ian Roger Moore is the best Bond. You know what? He was the first Bond I saw in the theater. So when I think of James Bond, I think of Roger Moore. A lot of people wishing Tracy the best. A lot of people wishing well to Joe. Keith, you got Fantastic Voyage. Suplex says 0 for 1. Sean says nice call to Tug. And Tracy Myers is saying thank you. Moving on, question number 9. Luana. Luana is from what Raquel Welch feature film? John Doe says, "I'm going to call Tug Yogurt from now on." Dan says, "I found out last night I only saw like 5 sequel movies." Oh, Raquel. I thought it said sequel. Raquel movies. Don't worry. I bet 3 of them are on this list. Tug says, "I did a video on Fantastic Voyage, so it's kind of unfair." You'll probably walk away with this, by the way, but that'll help people who struggle for answers. Lisa Field says, "Thresh. He was TGE, first Bond I ever saw, too." A lot of us, I think, being the same age bracket. And Daryl John says 1 million BC for the win. Sean Innes says 1 million BC. Ha ha ha. Keithy says next question. Answer 1 million BC. Yeah, I knew everyone was going to get that one. Okay, Cameron says I'm trying to get ready for my yard sale this weekend. If it doesn't rain, well, when it rains, it pours. I don't know why I said that. Emily Miller says, "That sounds like a cave woman to me." Emily Miller for the win. Yes, 1 million BC. So, since everyone's gotten that, I'm going to move on to the next one. This one might be a little tricky. If you don't know, I have a clue. Number 8, Lillian. In what film did she play Lillian? Gary Cabinet says, "EM, she was the cave woman." Tug says, "I don't cheat." Zublik says, "Are the first 5 about Raquel Welch?" Yes, first 5 are going to all be about Raquel Welch films. Karen Lee says, "Sending prayers for a quick recovery, Tracy." Aren't you sweet? That was very, very nice of you. Zublik says 0 for 2. Gary Carpenter says, "Geek." Who said that? I think he was being facetious. Lance Javen says, "No, John, that's gross." Um, ooh, Daryl Johnson for the win. Uh, oh, oh, no, not for the win. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong movie. Close but wrong. It's not Bomber. Kansas City Bomber. Barra Breckenridge. Nope, sorry. Kevin Scott Smith guessed Fantastic Voyage, even though we've already covered that one. No. Lance Javen says The Monsters. Good guess, but wrong. Lisa Field says, I don't know any of these. I'm so sorry. Well, I have a hint. Her full name was Lillian Lust. Lust, as in a film which features the 7 deadly sins. And if nobody gets it at that point, I'm going to. Dan for the win. Bedazzled. Yes. The original Bedazzled. Not the later one with Brendan Fraser. And now a lot of people are like, oh yeah. Tug says that clue was a dead giveaway. Well, I didn't have the heart to keep you guys in suspenders. Okay. Now you'll probably have a really easy time with this. K.C. Carr. In what film did Raquel Welch play K.C. Carr? Shadina says 1/3 that version was with Dudley Moore, right? Yes. Actually, it was a Cook and More film. It was considered Cook and More. Mother Jugs and Speed, sorry, no. John Doe says, hashtag remind. And Daryl Johnson, yes, this time you were right. It's the Kansas City Bomber about the roller derby team. And this is the last of the Raquel Welch questions. Tug says, I'm going to guess based on what you said earlier that it's the Kansas City. Yes, the Kansas City Bomber. Get it? KC Carr, Kansas City Bomber. All right. And the last Raquel Welch film, and I'm going to butcher the name, Constance de Bonacieux. In what film did she play Constance de Bonacieux? And I have a clue, but that will really give the game away. Yes, Shannon is for the win. Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers. The one with Michael York, the one that I'm always talking about. Oh, and now people are just guessing other movies she was also in. And I would have also accepted the Four Musketeers because she was in that too. And Emma says, well, that went well. Would you guys like it if I actually made the questions easier? I'm sorry. I'll move on now to famous Bond films. And Emily, I apologize in advance because you say you haven't seen any Bond films. But I'm going to start with Caroline Munro. Caroline Munro was in what Bond film? No, Zublik says, no, keep the torture. Keely says, I wanted a Mother Jugs and Speed question. Okay, Jugs. Doug says, I think the difficulty is just right, Thresh. LOL. Zublik says, Tanya Roberts. Tanya Roberts is not a Bond film. John Collins says, Bob, speaking of the Karate Kid trilogy, I enjoy everything about the trilogy. I always thought the second and third films should have been reversed because the second was real life and the third was a tourney. Very good. Very, very, very good point. Excellent point. Lance Javen says, for your eyes only. Sorry. Good guess, but wrong. Dilly Din says, okay, Three Musketeers. Now it's six. Six Musketeers? Okay. Sheldon says Goldfinger. Sorry. Daryl John says Dr. No. Sorry. John Doe says never seen any Bond movie except in clip format. Kevin Scott Smith, The Spy Who Loved Me. Yes, Caroline Munro was in The Spy Who Loved Me. Number 5. Jane Seymour. In what Bond film was Jane Seymour a Bond film? Lisa, you should get this one. Ooh, Octopussy, sorry, no. Ah, Live and Let Die. Sean Innes for the win. Yes, Live and Let Die. Which wasn't that the first Roger Moore? But yes, Live and Let Die. Excellent. Oh, Emily Miller got that one. Excellent. Lynn Chafin got that one. Excellent. Daryl Jones says, I win. You certainly do. Tug says, wow, bad typing. Well, I'm bad speaking. Zublik says 2 for 7. That's actually not bad for you. Sorry, that was mean. Emily Miller says, I was close. You were close. You gave the right answer. Live or let die. Yeah, that's you can't get closer than that. That's the right answer. And Tug says, yes, first movie. First more movie, yes. John Doe says, I did like a View to a Kill song. Yeah, that was Duran Duran. Okay, next film, number 4. Ursula Andress. Ursula Andress was a Bond girl in what Bond film? Wow, that was even easier than I thought it was going to be. Sean Innes says Doctor No. Gary Cameron says I have 2. Sean, it's Doctor No. Doctor. Wow, everyone seemed to know Doctor No. Emily says I just figured I would be right answer eventually. Well, you were excellent. And now, did I lose a card? Hang on a second. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Britt Eklund. Britt Eklund was a Bond girl in what Bond movie? Ursula Andress. That wasn't a Bond film. Tom Lermy says, according to the vintage YouTube place, Raquel wanted to be known for acting and not her body. I remember her acting. Emma Miller says, Octopussy, sorry. Form Content says, the man with the golden gun. Again, nope, sorry. Oh, a lot of people are guessing the man with the golden gun. No, what? No, I had to double check. Did I get them wrong? No. Oh, Kevin Scott Smith, close enough. He said Thunderbolt. It's Thunderball. Yes, Thunderball. And the final Bond question, and we've already referenced the movie prior to this. Grace Jones. Grace Jones was a Bond girl in what Bond film? Oh, Tug for the win. View to a Kill. But yeah, wow, a lot of people know that one. Oh, Sean said Living Daylights. Sorry, no. Gary Carpenter says it doesn't matter to me. It don't matter to me. Sorry. And I'll try to pick more mainstream topics. Like I said, they did Bond Girls on Dark Corners, and it was a Bond Girl Battle Royale. I loved it, so I thought it would be topical. Daryl Jones says she wasn't a Bond girl. Well, she was. She had a really cool nickname, Mayday. She slept with him, and she had a lot of action revolving around her. You know, technically, she wasn't his girlfriend in the movie, but I say you got to give it to her. But Daryl, I will yield. I will yield to your decision, and we'll call it a tacit Bond girl. Lisa Fields gets a View to a Kill. I knew you get that one too. Wajimine says 1 out of 10. Yeah, I got 1 right. LOL. Liz Javen says, with Christopher Walken. Yes, that was the one where he plays the bad guy. So Luke says 2 for 9 because 1 was incorrect. The Grace Jones. You're not going to give me the Grace Jones one. Oh, come on. She was in the Battle Royale with Dark Corners, and she was one of the coolest characters they ever had. But Tug says, I'm pretty sure you were wrong about Britt Eklund too, by the way. Am I? She wasn't in Thunderball? Am I confusing my movies? All right, you know what? Everybody gets 2 bonus points. 2. You know what? Make it 3 bonus points. So whatever your score is, add 3 points to it because I'm an incompetent. What could be more fair than that? Was Britt Eklund in Thunderball? Mrs. Thrash says she doesn't want to get involved. So which means probably not. Mother Jugs and Bond, Keith, I love it. Let's see what else we get going here. Tom Memory says, was Jill St. John mentioned? No, I did not mention her film. Sean Innes says, no, Britt Eklund was in The Man with the Golden Gun. I just checked. And Zublik says, Thunderball didn't star Britt Eklund. I have never been so embarrassed. I was kind of doing my research on the fly tonight, so I'm very, very sorry, guys. But thank you for your understanding. And you know what? Everyone gets, oh, heck, everyone take another point. Everybody gets 4 extra points. Dan said, oh, and Daryl's still saying, no, she wasn't a Bond girl. Point conceded. Point conceded. Dan says, I haven't seen a Bond film since they replaced Bronson. Tug said I'm 10 out of 10. I bet at least one person's an 11 out of 10. This book says Britt Eklund, not England, autocorrect. Daryl Jones says LOL. Jonathan says Roger Moore ends up with Roger Moore in the boat at the end, so she counts. Gary Carter says Carol Monroe was in At the Earth's Core. I was just watching the MST3K version of that, partly because I was boning up for my MST3K podcast, and I love that film, and I know a lot of people don't like Jonah as a host, or at least they think he doesn't quite, he's not quite up to par with Mike or Joel. I thought he did a competent job. Sean says, oops, Britt Eklund. Zublik says, no, Tom. Del John says, I like that movie. Those birds. Yeah, the bird things. Those are crazy. Lance Javen says, Carol Monroe was in Star Crash. She certainly was. Tom Lemon says, she was in Diamonds Are Forever. She certainly was. Ellen Mo says, I'm more confused now than I was before the trivia. Daryl Johnson says, I win. Yes, Daryl. Point conceded. Point conceded. Gary Carter says, Ursula was in Clash of the Titans, the original, and she was amazing in it. John Doe says, I don't like flamingos. They urinate on their legs. Ew. Ew. Field says, wasn't Halle Bailey a Bond girl? She was later on, but she was a Bond girl. I was sticking to the original. I still got a couple wrong. So, Sean Innes says, it happens. There were a lot of hotties in Remember the Golden Gun. Hello, Maud Adams. Yep, definitely, definitely. Tom Murray says, I think she was Lisa. Yes, she was. Oh, Tug says, in Die Another Day. Liz Chafin says that as well. Daily Dan says, who do you choose, James Bond or Austin Powers, and why? I like Austin Powers because I met Michael York. Gary Carter says Maud Adams was an Octopussy. John Doe says, I like Kung Fury. Awesome movie. Karen Lee Maloney says, I didn't play, but I'll take the 4 extra points. You know what? Yeah, take them. Everyone gets the points. Tug says Maud Adams played 2 Bond girls. They actually talk about that in Dark Corners. Gary Carter says Moonraker. Lance Chafin says Lisa, she played Jinx. Sean Innes says, yep, Gary Carpenter, she was in both. Lisa Field says, thanks, Tom and Tug. I thought so. Halle Berry was also Catwoman. Very good Superplex. Daryl Jones says, okay, open the box now. All right. There. I have opened the box. Now if I can... Kids, don't try that at home. There, I have opened the box. Let's just see. I get all the points. Leonard Gibbons says, I finally win something. Wow. Tug says, I don't like the negative. I don't like to be negative, but unfortunately, Die Another Day is the worst Bond movie. Not Halle Berry's fault, though. You really thought that was the worst? There's no wrong answer. I mean, everyone has one Bond film they don't like. A few people have a few Bond films they don't like. Halle Berry wasn't Swordfishes. Shona says the box is open. Tom Larry says you can have my points, Daryl. Oh, that's so generous of you. Daryl Jones says, "Damn it, nothing. I told you nothing was in the box. It was metaphoric." It's like in Excalibur. Until you try the cake, you don't know what's in it, and then of course it's too late. Gary Cameron says, John D, you said a mouthful, friend. Um, oh, well, just. Oh, John Doe says Catwoman was a horrible movie. Tug says, I told you the real box was the friends we made along the way. Oh, that's so sweet. Zublik says, it's like Capone's vault. People are still talking about that. Was what, 30 years ago, and people are still talking about that's crazy. Shona says, was Gwyneth Paltrow's head in the box? No, this is not Seven. Ew. Oh, and spoiler alert. Actually, it was the head of Alfredo Garcia. If you've seen, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, list it in the comments below. I'm skipping down. Dan says the most incredible comely blonde film ever was Moonraker, but I still loved it. Corny, not comely, corny. I like Moonraker myself, actually. Ed Jaws gets a girlfriend, isn't that sweet? Tug says you can't put Peter Sellers in it and say it's the worst anything. Loosefield says to Tug, LOL. Superbook says Casino Royale was made for laughs and is a total mess. It certainly was. I think Marcel Marceau is trapped in the box. Could be. Liz Stevens says, Lisa with Radon Chong. John Doe says Saturday afternoon they're showing classic Godzilla movies on the channel called Movies. I did not know that. Kevin Scott Smith says stress spelled backwards is desserts. Oh my gosh, it is. That's why we eat desserts when we're distressed. Wow, mine. And let's just see. Gary Cameron says, I just saw At the Ghost Core for the first time. Great movie. Jonas says, sorry, I didn't care for Gwyneth much. Yes, I have seen Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Warren Oates is a lost favorite of mine. He was amazing. He was amazing. Was it Ride with the Devil that he did with Loretta Swit about the people on vacation who get attacked by Satanists? Great movie, great movie. He was good in Stripes too. Forms Content says, I saw Alfredo Garcia, Warren Oates, right, and enjoyed it, but it was kind of exhausting. Lance Given says, Kevin, what's a race car backwards? Gary Cameron says Carolyn was in Captain Cronus Vampire Hunter, which is so funny because if you see the Hugh Jackman, what was it? Van Helsing. He's not playing Van Helsing. He's playing Captain Kronos. I don't know why they didn't just call it Captain Kronos. People wouldn't even know it was a remake. They would have thought it was something original. Dan says, well, it was a Mandela effect. Now she doesn't have braces no more. Are we going to start the Mandela effect again? Tug says, I reserve my opinions on Moonraker until I cover it on my channel. Fair enough. It's the only one I can, in good conscience, call sci-fi. Well, yes, because they use space shuttles and there's a space battle. I don't want to give the game away. I should probably shut up right now. Sir Blick says, I guess you never saw the ghost of Noonday Sun? Not ringing a bell. Gary Carter says Austin Powers. Shotton says, yep, Blue Thunder and Wild Bunch. Love the Wild Bunch. I can't recall Blue Thunder. I may have seen it, don't recall it, but I love the Wild Bunch. Form Content says Jaws had metal teeth, though. Yeah, Jaws was cool. And he only says one line in both films he's in. He says one line. What is it? John Doe says Werewolves on Wheels was a good to. I'm sorry, Werewolves on Wheels was a sequel to another movie. I forgot the name. It was, and I can't remember it either. Lisa Field says, Tug, you are going to review Moonraker soon. Lance Javen says, Tug, when is your next watch party? Tug says, Lisa, I should. If everybody wants me to, I can bump it up on my list. Please do. Please do. Shannon says Blue Thunder had Roy Schneider and Malcolm McDowell as helicopter pilots. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one. Sublik says that movie was so bad it was not released until it became a video T-Pawns. Really? Lisa Field says, Tug, I really hope you do. Lance Javen says Sean and Daniel Stern. Guys, I hate to do it to you. I'm looking at the time. It's about 9 o'clock now. I normally go for 90 minutes. I got a super long day tomorrow, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of wrap things up now. Any last questions, please read them into the comments, and I'll be sure to cover them. And we will take it from there. And I hope to see a lot of you at Retro Nerd Girls watch party. Love Clash of the Titans. Shannon says, yeah, he was young in that. Tug says, Lance, I'm changing it to regular Q&A live streams. The copyright bots were too much of a headache. I can certainly see that. Gary Cameron says, I saw Capone's Vault. I saw that too. Dan says, good night all. Gary Cameron says, 7 heads in a duffel bag. 7 heads in a Gwyneth Paltrow. Daryl Jones says, okay, have a good night, Bob. You as well, Daryl. Zublik says, what's up with the NC T-Pawns? Tug and I did his podcast last night. He's trying to get it out soon because he wants to do a Monday night live chat on MST3K. And a lot of people saying good night. Gary Cameron says, I met the Bond villain, Jaws. That's super awesome. He was Richard Gallo, super cool. Doug says, my next one is scheduled for a week from Sunday. Super, super. And Dan is giving us a link to his channel. And Zublik says, who, ENC or Tug? Tug and I were on with ENC on his podcast last night for MST3K, and he should have that out very, very soon. Kimberly Maloney says, had a great time. Thank you. Good night, all. Thank you for joining us. I'll probably be doing another live chat Tuesday, but I'll let you guys know during the weekend. I like the Tuesday, Thursday thing. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do those, but I'll try to keep them going as long as I can. And take care, all. And Dan's giving us a lot of great links, and thank you. Oh, and Daryl Johnson says, good grief. Yes, that's the best kind. And anyway, I want to thank you guys all for joining tonight, by the way. I love these chats. I want to thank you for your understanding with my mistakes. I promise the next trivia game I have will be more accurate. Thank you for your understanding. Anyway, until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.